Hi, today the topic of my presentation is Cosmic Egg and the Fantastic Four. Have you ever wondered why we have 4 seasons in our year? Or why we have 4 cardinal points, north, south, east and west? Why is a leap year every 4 years? Why are there 4 parts in a day? Sunrise, sunset, midday and midnight. How about the fact that our moon has 4 phases that occur every 4 weeks? Why 4? Coincidence? Maybe. But consider this. Human beings have 4 limbs, 2 arms and 2 legs, 4 fingers and a thumb, 4 toes and a thumb. Did you know humans have 4 canine teeth and 4 wisdom teeth? How about the 4 main human blood types? A positive, B positive, AB positive, and O positive. Speaking of blood, did you know that our blood is made up of 4 main components? Plasma, white blood cells, platelets, and red blood cells? What about our hearts that pump this blood? Also divided into 4 chambers: the right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle. Even human bodily tissue is divided into 4 types: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle, and nervous tissue. Our brains, yep, also divided into 4 main sections: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. Did you know that all DNA is made up of 4 base elements? Adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. What about the fact that humans have 5 sensory organs and functions, 4 of them localized to the head area: mouth to taste, nose to smell, ears for hearing, eyes for vision. The 5th sense being skin to feel, of course. But get this, did you know our skin has 4 main receptors that respond to touch, pressure, cold, heat, and pain? Not forgetting the 4 main senses of taste: sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. Now, earlier on, I spoke about our 4 moons phases: the waxing phase, the waning phase, the full moon phase, and the new moon phase. But how about the fact that all women on Earth at some point in their lives experience menstrual cycles which are affected by these 4 weekly cycles of the moon? Even more interestingly, a menstrual cycle itself happens in 4 stages: the bleeding stage, the follicular stage, the ovulatory stage, and the luteal stage. I know, crazy, right? But there's more. What about the 4 base components needed for organic life to survive within our realm? Proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates? Or our 4 base states of matter: solids, liquids, gases, and plasma? Not forgetting, of course, our 4 main greenhouse gases: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. Is it not interesting that every single flying insect on Earth has 4 wings? Except for flies, that is. What about the metamorphic 4 stages of an insect's life cycle? The egg stage, the larva stage, the pupa stage, and the adult stage. Or the 4 stages of a cell's mitosis. I'll let you look that one up for yourselves. Even in mathematics, we all know that there are 4 basic principles: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. 4 is the number of the square. Our 3-dimensional reality is built on 4-sided structures. 4-sided bricks that build 4 corner rooms, which make up four-sided houses, four-sided tables, four-sided sheets of paper, books, screens, cars, etc., etc. Even the very core structure of our physical sciences is primarily divided into four: chemistry, physics, biology, and mathematics. I'm sure you can now see the divine syncretic pattern of four within our physical, everyday reality. Four is everywhere and in everything, even embedded within the fabric of our collective cultures on Earth. For instance, is it not interesting that 4 is the only number in the English language that is equal to the number of letters in its name? The number 4, or the word 4, has 4 letters. Or isn't it also interesting that of all the words listed as vulgar in the English dictionary, exactly half are 4-lettered words? I won't repeat them though. What about the 4 universal primary colors: red, yellow, green, and blue? Even in religion, this rule of 4 is not exempt. For instance, did you know that in Judeo-Christian faith, the Hebrew word for God is a 4-letter word known as the tetragrammaton, Yahweh, Y-A-H-W? Or that in Islam, there are 4 main books: the Torah, the Zabur, the Injil, and the Quran. And even in Vedic Hinduism, there are also 4 main books: the Rig Veda, the Sama Veda, the Yajur Veda, and the Atharva Veda. What about the 4 noble truths in Buddhism: Dukkha, Samadaya, Nirodha, and Magga? Not forgetting, of course, the 4 main Gospels of Jesus in the Christian Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. What about the 4 corners of the earth spoken of in the Bible? The 4 winds of the earth, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the book of Revelations, or the 4 ages of man? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Why 4? Now, let's look at other areas of our social culture associated with this number 4. In politics, for instance, is it not peculiar that every single world government, presidential, state, and political election on Earth is held in 4-year cycles? Even in business and finance, they say the stock market runs in 4-year epicycles that happen in 4 stages. The first stage being the consolidation stage, second, the upward advancement stage, third, the culmination stage, and fourth, the declination stage. Our sporting cultures are no different. Why are most, if not all, major sporting events and competitions also held in 4-year cycles? The Olympics, the football, rugby, cricket, and all other World Cups, every 4 years. What about the 4 main swimming strokes: breaststroke, backstroke, crawl, and butterfly, or the 4 stages of an athletics relay? There are even 4 suits in a deck of playing cards: hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Now, I've already mentioned the cycles of 4 in politics, but I came across some quite interesting facts whilst researching this topic. It's no secret that the USA is the political capital of this part of Earth. So I thought it would be a good idea to highlight some interesting facts regarding American politics and the number 4. For instance, did you know that the American Constitution was written during the term of the 4th American president, James Madison? Also, did you know, to date, 4 American presidents have been assassinated: Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy, of course. Make that what you may. As you can see, you don't have to be a genius to notice how syncretic and powerful the number 4 is within our reality. In fact, 4 was considered by many great philosophers and mathematicians as the sacred number of Earth and mankind. It was said to be the number that symbolizes the principles of putting ideas into form. The ancient Pythagoreans believed that the number 4, or the tetrad, symbolized the reflection of God in man, expressed by the 4 parts of the soul: mind, opinion, science, and sense. We also see this line of thinking with many ancient cultures who attributed creation and form to the star tetrahedron, or Merkaba, which is a kind of star-shaped pyramid structure with 4 triangular faces and 4 corners interlinked to create what is considered a sacred, divine, geometric shape and structure found in mathematic ratios, harmonics, light, and cosmology. The 4 triangular shapes of this star tetrahedron are also said to correspond with the 4 elemental building blocks of life: earth, air, fire, and water. Now, one of the reasons I've done this Fantastic Four presentation is to prove conclusively that our universe, creation, and reality as we know it is not random. There are no mistakes when it comes to this, and there is most definitely divine order and structure all around us, whether we're aware of it or not. Another reason is to show you how syncretic knowledge, observations, and research can be used to gain a better understanding of how our universe works physically as well as metaphysically. I'm assuming that if you're watching this now, you've already watched my geocentric cosmic egg universe 3-part presentation. If you haven't, I highly recommend you watch that before watching the next segment of this presentation. In this next part of my presentation, I'm going to reconstruct my cosmic egg universe model using this tetrad syncretic pattern of 4. So, if you can recall from the cosmic egg presentation, we said that in the beginning was the void, okay, the space of infinite space, time, and potential, the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end, source, where everything begins from. We then said that this infinite space, time, and potential, source, or God, creative energy, created this, what is the star tetrahedron that we were talking about earlier on, the Merkaba, okay, the first star, the Vesica Pisces, that we always talk about in esoteric circles. Okay, this is the trio of creation, sustenance, and destruction. Right. We then said that this creative force, this trio, created the cosmic egg, a torus field, essentially. Okay, what mainstream science today calls cosmic background microwave radiation. Okay, that's what NASA tells us, that our universe is made up of cosmic background microwave radiation, which is a torus field. Okay, so this is now the womb of creation. This is the first form of our universe. Okay, and this is where we see the first form of our Fantastic Four, because now, okay, we've got an up, a down, an east, a west, north, south, east, and west. Okay, we've now got direction, because remember, in the void, outside of this, there is no direction. It's infinite space, it's infinite time. This is where space and time begins, inside the cosmic egg. We then said that they created the torus field, or the vortex that runs through it, okay? The cosmic axis, up at the top, down at the bottom, okay? And then left and right, okay? And this is the keeper, the father of all the winds, as we're saying. This is the connection, the umbilical cord that links us inside our universe with the multiverse outside, okay? So, right. We then said God separated the waters above from the waters below, okay? This is where the earth comes in, okay? This is the pyramid Bhumandala that we talked about in the presentation, okay? This is where we see our second Fantastic Four inside our universe, okay? Earth, air above us, waters below us, and fire being the heavenly realms and the hellish realms, Okay, so now we see those four building blocks of life that we always talk about: earth, air, water, and fire. Okay, right. Talked about the firmament. Okay, the heavens above. Right. We said that in mainstream science, they tell us that everything began with the Big Bang at the top. Okay, the point of singularity. Right, and everything spread out into the universe. You know, from the Big Bang, from the point of singularity. The dog star, the God star, the Sirius star system is up here. That's the first realm. The second realm is the Omega Centauri galaxy, and then we've got the Andromeda galaxy, and then we've got the Milky Way galaxy, which is just above the firmament. Okay, so those are the four heavenly realms. Okay, the Vedics go into even more detail. They call that the top one the Satya Loka, or the Brahma Loka. The next one was the Tapa Loka. The next one is the Yana Loka. The next one is the Mahaloka. Right? As above, so below. They said the bottom, there's also four hellish realms. The Talatala Loka, the Mahatala Loka, the Rasatala Loka, and the Patala Loka. Right? So those are the four heavenly realms and the four hellish realms. Right? Fantastic four heavenly realms, fantastic four hellish realms. So here in the skies is where we see our next fantastic four. Astrologers will tell you that our 12 signs of the zodiac are always divided into four. Okay, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries are the cardinal points of the 12 signs of the zodiac. Okay, so Cancer is always associated with water and summer, right? Libra is air and autumn. Capricorn is earth and winter. Aries is fire and spring. These are the zodiacal cardinal signs. Again, divided into four. Okay. Now, going back to our Earth, we had said that the Earth runs diametrically across inside our cosmic egg. Right? It's the plane of inertia, similar to something like this, right? So if this is the cosmic egg, right? If this is the torus field of our universe inside the multiverse, right? And this is inside our universe, this would be the Earth running diametrically across our torus field egg, right? The waters above being the atmospheres up here, and the waters below being the actual waters below, inside our torus field. Okay, so that's what we said the Earth was. We also remember, if you remember, we said that the Egyptians said that in the beginning, the first form of creation was the benben, which translates to pyramid, okay, or mound or pyramid. So we said that the Earth was a pyramid, as above, so below. So pyramid above, a pyramid below. Okay, we said that in Greek mythology, Mother Gaia with the two children, Prometheus and Epimetheus. Yeah. So if we focus on this pyramid, right, using our fantastic four syncretic method, right, we then say there are four concentric rings of land. Okay, these are the four corners of the earth spoken of in the Bible, right? The Garden of Eden at the center, where we are here, or Midgard. Garden of Eden at the center, or Midgard, where we are here, Earth, what we call Earth, or Vanayam, as it was called by the Norse, Jutoinum being the next ring, and Muspelem being the last ring. So those are the four corners of the earth spoken of in the Bible, right? Okay. As above, so below. There's probably a pyramid that sits underneath as well. You also remember we said that at one stage this used to be at the top, so it was a proper pyramid, but something happened to the capstone of this pyramid mandala. This is now the sunken continent of Atlantis. This is Eden, this is Hyperborea, etc., etc. Okay, so if you remember from the cosmic egg video, we said each of these four concentric rings of land has got a torus field around it. So this whole thing is inside a torus field, which is the cosmic egg, okay? And each of these rings of land has got its own torus field surrounding it. So at the center, right, they've got their own torus field, right? What we know as the aurora borealis, okay? Electromagnetic field, as NASA and science tells us. So that's the torus field around the Garden of Eden at the center, okay? On the outside, right, on the around the Antarctica is another torus field, which is known as the aurora australis, okay? This is the Van Allen belt that NASA tells us about. There is another Van Allen belt around this outer ring of land and another Van Allen belt around that outer bit of land. So NASA tells us that there are 5 Van Allen belts inside our universe. The 4 around the 4 concentric rings of land, the 5th one being the one that covers us inside the universe, okay? Separating us from the multiverse, the outside, right? We also said that these different rings of land are different dimensions, okay? So the center is a different dimension with a different frequency. Where we are is a different dimension. This is the 3D world, 3rd dimension. Out here is a different dimension. Out there is a different dimension. NASA tells us, right, that aliens are extraterrestrials. So if you break that word down, extraterrestrials, you know, they're telling us quite clearly. Extra means more of, terrestrial, the root word terrain. Extraterrestrials, more terrain. Beings from the terrain, you know, outside, in outer space. This is outer space, okay? Not up in the sky somewhere. Outer space is outside the space that we are in, okay? Right? Going back to the Fantastic Four, right? We've now got 4 concentric rings of land with 4 toroidal fields. If you remember, we also said that there were 4 suns and 4 moons in our universe, right? At the center, right, we've got Mercury, which is actually androgynous. So we count that as 2. It's both a sun and a moon. This is Mercury, this is Hermes, Hermod, Black Sun of Intent, all the same thing, right? Around our toroidal field, we've got our sun and moon, Apollo and Artemis, okay, that revolve around our torus field, okay, up and down, right? On the outside, they've got their own sun and moon, which are Mars and Venus. So Mars and Venus revolving around that torus field, okay? And in the last toroidal field, they've got Saturn and Jupiter, okay? Saturn and Jupiter revolving around this last toroidal field, all right? So that's 4 suns and 4 moons, right? So we've got Saturn, Mars, Apollo, and Mercury being the 4 suns in our universe, okay? And then we've got Jupiter, Venus, Artemis, which is our moon, and Mercury being the 4 moons in our universe. So 4 concentric rings of land, right? With 4 toroidal fields, 4 suns, and 4 moons, right? These 4 things are what create our 4 seasons, okay? So we've got 4 seasons. We all know the 4 seasons, right? Summer, autumn, winter, and spring. 4 seasons. We also know about the 4 times of the day that we experience every day. Sunrise, midday, sunset, and midnight, right? 4, again, okay? There are no coincidences. There are no mistakes, okay? What else do we have 4 of? We've got the 4 paths that the sun takes along the ecliptic during the course of the year, right? The summer solstice, the winter solstice, the fall equinox, and the spring equinox, okay? Right, the swastika that we see, okay? What about the 4 phases of the moon? The waxing, waning, full moon, and new moon. 4, again. All of it is syncretic with these 4 concentric rings of land, the 4 toroidal fields, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. This is how you syncretically put pieces together. This is how nature talks to us, if we're paying attention, that is. Okay? What else do we see 4 of? Let's move on to here, closer to home, where we are. Okay? We also discussed, if you remember, we've said that there's a toroidal field around our part of the Earth, okay? This is the Van belt around us. At the center here, there's a toroidal field, which is the aurora borealis, okay? NASA tells us that inside our Earth, there are 4 atmospheres, okay? What are these 4 atmospheres? The troposphere, right? The stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere, right? These are the 4 atmospheres inside our universe, right? They also tell us that the Earth, inside the Earth, are 4 layers, okay? The crust, the mantle, right? The inner core and the outer core, okay? This is what they tell us. That would be underneath the Earth, inside the Earth, right? So that's 4. What about here at the bottom, right? Another 4. What about the 4 major oceans? They tell us on Earth there are 4 main oceans. The Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean, right? These are the 4 oceans on Earth. What about the 4 traditional continents on Earth? Okay. Africa, so Africa, the Americas, okay, Europe, and Asia, okay? Those are the 4 traditional continents on our part of the Mandala, with the 4 oceans, right? This is where the 4 times of the day occur: sunrise, sunset, midday and midnight, the 4 seasons, right? This is where that happens, what we experience every day. The 4, the waxing, waning of the moon, you know, the 4 different phases of the moon, the 4 different phases of the sun during the year. We experience that here on Earth. Okay, so that's not even a debate. That is not up for debate. That is something we experience. Those syncretic 4s are things that we experience. If we go back to the center, in the Bible, it tells us the Garden of Eden is divided by 4 rivers, okay? The Pishon, the Gihon, the Tigris, and the Euphrates, okay? If we look at Vedic cosmology, they tell us that in Shambhala, right, at the center, right, there are 4 islands. It's divided into 4 islands, okay, which are Jambudvipa, Ketumala, Bhadrasava, and Uttarakuru, right? 4 again. So that's the Bible telling us that the Garden of Eden is divided by 4 rivers, and that's Vedic cosmology, right? Indians, different type of religion, telling us that Shambhala or Eden is divided into 4 islands. 4 again. Okay? So a lot of these fantastic 4s we experience ourselves. And this is how I've put together the universe. I've used this language of syncretism. Because syncretism is basically the language of the universe. This is God's language. This is how God speaks to us. Okay? Or the universe speaks to us through syncretism if we are paying attention. We have to be paying attention. Right? Anyone who says these things are coincidence is clearly not paying attention and is clearly not awake. And for me, it's a no-brainer, really. Absolute no-brainer. Okay? 4 is everywhere. Culture, in what we experience, in our sciences, as I've said before, in our politics, in finance, in sport, in every facet, in every fabric of our existence, we see this syncretic code of 4. Okay? We can't ignore it. It would be extremely ignorant to ignore it. It is quite obvious as far as I'm concerned. Okay? So, you know, I hope that I've proven to you that, you know, I've not just randomly made this cosmic egg universe with the 4 islands and the 4 toroidal fields and the 4 suns and moons, which are wandering stars, you know, and the Garden of Eden up in my head randomly, right? There is method, there is structure, there is a divine, sacred, geometric, whatever you want to call it, order to everything. Everything is exactly as it should be, right? the 4 ages, right? I forgot to mention the 4 ages, right? The toroidal fields, the breathing in and out of the torus fields that I talked about. Okay, the torus fields, they close and they open. That's what creates the 4 ages as well, which are longer seasons. We talked about the seasons that we experience, right? The first small season being our day, right? Sunrise, midday, sunset, and midnight. That's the first season that we experience. The second season we experience are the seasons of the phases of the moon, the waxing, waning, full, and new moon, okay, which happen on a 4 weekly basis. The fourth season we experience are the ones created by the sun. No, the third one are the ones created by the sun, okay, which are summer, autumn, winter, and spring, okay. And then the fourth age, or the fourth season, are the ages. The biggest season are the ages. The iron, the bronze, the silver, and the golden, right? The Vedics call them the Kali Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, the Treta Yuga, and the Satya Yuga, okay? So again, there are 4 seasons in our universe, right? This is how we discern this type of stuff. Prophets, or people who were known as prophets like Nostradamus, they weren't supernatural human beings. They were just able to understand and read this code of the universe, right? Things like pi, the Fibonacci sequence, right? Syncretism, like I'm doing now, right? You can prophesy what's going to happen in the future if you know how the universe works, if you know how toroidal fields work, if you know how ages of consciousness work, if you know how the seasons work. You're able to prophesy what's to come, because there is nothing new under the sun. If it's happened before, it's going to happen again, and it's happened before, right? Nothing is new under the sun, okay? So when I talk about this shift that's happening, or when I talk about 2020, the sun, you know, Mercury rising with the expansion of the toroidal fields and what's going to happen in 2020 and all that, it's not because I've got prophetic vision or anything. It's because I've come to understand, I hope, if I'm right, how all this works. The toroidal fields, the breathing in and out, okay? The expansion and the contraction, like Santos Bonacci was saying. You're able to know what's going to happen in the near future. You're able to see what will happen, what's happened in the past as well, okay? All of this has happened in the past, and it will happen in the future. Right, this is the cycle of life. This happens in waves. The sine wave that we always talk about, frequency, happens in sine wave. Okay, your heartbeat, your pulse. It's the same thing with the cycle of life. Ups and downs, peaks and troughs, in and out, duality. Now, like I always say in all my presentations, I'm not asking anyone to blindly believe or accept what I'm presenting. I'm simply asking that you listen and observe with a critical eye and an open mind, and do your own research to verify or disprove what I'm saying, okay? I'm not saying this is 100% fact. I'm simply saying, here's the evidence, right, for my findings, for my research, for my understanding, right? Make up your own mind, scrutinize what I'm saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm also assuming that most of you watching this are consciously aware enough to know that not everything we're told, obviously, is a complete lie, okay? We all know that governments and corporations, you know, they lie to some degree. But we can't go too extreme and say that everything's a complete lie, okay? Any psychologist will tell you that, you know, the best or the most effective lies are the ones where you stick as close to the truth as possible. And this is what these elites have done, right? They've not made up a whole new lie that we live on a spinning ball and it's all a complete lie. No, there is some truth in what they're telling us, as I've been trying to demonstrate with my presentations. It's not a complete lie. We have to be able to discern the truths from the half-truths. No different from the Bible and the Vedic texts and the Quran, right? These are books of truth and not fact. They're not factual books. They're truthful books. We have to be able to discern what the facts are and what the truths are. Same thing with science that we're told, with mainstream science. When you watch the news, you have to be able to discern, you know, how much of the truth are they telling us? Again, not everyone can do this because not everyone is consciously aware or awake yet to notice these things. Okay, but these elites, right, that we call the elites, that have been running this realm for thousands of years, these bloodlines that go back to Egyptian, Egyptian pharaohs, to the Roman Empire. These are the same bloodlines that are running the world today. Nothing's changed, right? Nothing's changed. The only difference is the illusion of freedom that we have today because of technology and other things that are used to distract us. But the system is still the same. Nothing's changed, okay? And these, we can't assume that they're idiots. They're not, right? They've managed to manipulate the truths, okay? So we've not been lied to, we've been manipulated, okay? Neil Tyson deGrasse, in one of his videos, actually admitted to this.
So you understand, we've been fed a lie our entire, I want to call it a lie. We've been fed.
It's a point of view thing, I think.
We've been fed Earth has been misrepresented to us by geologists. Because the globes that you buy, that you rub your fingers over and you feel the Himalayas and you feel the Rocky Mountains. No, no, okay?
We've got to have the wisdom to discern truths from half-truths and lies as well. Some of it is complete lies, obviously, So there are truths, there are lies, there are half-truths, We have to be able to discern the difference, okay? So this conscious shift or this awakening that is happening, right, is happening now for a reason at this time. Like I've been saying, there are no coincidences, there are no mistakes in the universe, okay? Some of us at the moment are old souls, like I said in my cosmic egg presentation. We are old souls, right? We are picking up these frequencies and these things a lot quicker than some of maybe the younger souls, right? Who are going to take a bit longer to wake up to these things. We talked about the three life forces within our realms: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, right? Creation, sustenance, and destruction. There is a reflection of that here on earth with us, the Titans, that are living up the script, okay? There are some souls here who are Brahma souls, creative souls. These are the souls that are trying to ascend the collective. These are the souls who will be moving on to a different experience, right? To create, to help create the golden age from the inside out, from Eden, like I've been saying, okay? There are those who have the Vishnu element, the Vishnu souls, right? These are the ones who are in the middle, the neutrals, okay? They're not going in or out. They are here to keep the current paradigm going, to help bring forth the new age on this part of the Bhumandala. And then on the other, on the, complete end, we've got the Shiva souls, right? The fallen angels, okay? Who are going down and out. These are the destructive forces, the ones that are intent on bringing chaos, on confusion, who are, lies. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. It's all just part of the system. This is a beautiful thing. All of it is necessary. Duality is necessary. We must appreciate the whole thing. Unfortunately, most of us in the truther community, we're still stuck in playing the victim, saying that we're in a prison, we're locked up, this is a matrix, it's evil, it's bad. There's nothing evil about our reality. There's nothing bad about where we are, about what's happening. It's all meant to teach us. It's all meant to help us grow along our cycle inside this cosmic egg, inside our universe, okay? This experience we're having right now is a tiny blip along our journey, along our soul's journey. You're only alive for a few, a few years, less than 100 years, and then you move on. Your soul has a different experience. So this is a tiny lesson on that journey. So ultimately, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be upset about. We just need to try and understand what's going on. And once we understand it, there's no fear. You embrace it, right? And you look forward to the future. And you enjoy the experiences, good and bad. It's all necessary. Right. Some of you will recognize what I'm saying, right? Some of you will think I'm absolutely batshit crazy, and that's fine. There's a time and a place for everything and for everyone. The same goes with this type of stuff. We're all at different stages of conscious awareness. Some are way ahead, some are just starting, some are far away from it. And that's fine. If you resonate with it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. You know, it's not a problem. But before I leave, I just wanted to close my presentation with a very interesting article or reading that I came across. One of the first things I did when I embarked on this syncretic Fantastic Four research is I went to Google, as you do, and I just put 4 inside Google to see what would come up. And of course, Wikipedia came up, and there was loads of information on the number 4. A lot of it I've incorporated it into this video. But one particular thing caught my eye, and I thought I have to share this with you. You know, we all know that we are told these truth hidden in plain sight if we're paying attention. So nothing's really hidden from us, okay? We're just not told the full truth, okay? And this is one of those cases, and this was so telling and so relevant to this cosmic egg universe, to my cosmic egg model, okay? So I went to Google, I clicked on 4, I went to Wikipedia, and in Wikipedia, under logic and philosophy, this is the first paragraph that came up, right, and I quote, "The symbolic meanings of the number 4 are linked to those of the cross and square," right? And then in quotation marks it says, "Almost from prehistoric times, the number 4 was employed to signify what was solid, what could be touched and felt. Its relationship to the cross, in brackets, 4 points, made it an outstanding symbol of wholeness and universality," right? "A symbol which drew all to itself," close quote, right? And then it says, "Where lines of latitude and longitude intersect, they divide the earth into 4 portions." Okay, I'm going to repeat that. They're telling us, right? Where lines of latitude and longitude intersect, they divide the earth into 4 portions. What 4 portions? The 4 concentric rings of land. Okay, I'll carry on reading. "Throughout the world, kings and chieftains have been called," and in quotation marks, "Lord of the 4 suns, Lord of the 4 quarters of the earth." I'm going to repeat that again. It says, "Throughout the world, kings and chieftains have been called Lord of the 4 suns, Lord of the 4 quarters of the earth." Right, which 4 suns? Like I've said, Saturn, Mars, Apollo, our sun, and Mercury. Lord of the 4 quarters of the earth. Which 4 quarters of the earth? The 4 concentric rings of land, right? The 4 terrains with the different terrestrial beings, extraterrestrial beings on the 4 different terrains, the 4 quarters of the earth, right? And it ends by saying, "by which is understood to the extent of their powers, both territorially and in terms of total control of their subjects' doings." All right, so these 4 suns are responsible, right, for their subjects in each of their territories, right? So the 4 suns rule over the 4 lands. That's what they're telling us. This is what is known as truth hidden in plain sight. It's right there. This is on Wikipedia, a mainstream media platform. I'm not making this up. You can go on and Google it and check it for yourself. On that note, I conclude my presentation. I hope I've been clear and concise. Those that resonate with it, I look forward, as usual, to your comments, to your constructive criticism, to your help in putting these pieces together. If you can correct me, if you've seen I've made a mistake somewhere and you correct me, I welcome that. Those who don't resonate with it, I know you'll attack me and you'll call me all kinds of names, but that's okay too. You know, that's all part of this whole thing. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.